Stevie J back again with highlights from another conference call, the TNA 10 Reunion Pay-Per-View Conference Call with Bobby Roode. Listen and enjoy. Thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Grady Hooker, Wrestling Roundup.
Bobby, hello. You've obviously competed against and teamed with your TNA 10 Reunion opponent a fair few times, held the TNA Tag Team title 4 times for 466 days. But do you prefer to team with James Storm or to compete against him?
At this point in my career, would be to compete against him. James and I had a great run as a tag team. There's no secret about that, and we had a blast doing it for the 4 years, but there comes a point in time where, you have to kind of look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, are you going to be content being a tag team guy for the rest of your career, or do you want to be a world heavyweight champion? And I got in the business to be a world champion, and so did James. I know that for a fact because we talked about it before. And, once we broke up and as we started our feud and started wrestling each other a lot over the last couple of years, our chemistry in the ring was probably better than it was when we were a tag team. So, I know his goal was to be a world champion, and he became a world champion, and it was mine as well. So I think at this point for both of us, I think it's best to be where we're at.
Okay, well, thanks. Great talking to you, man.
Thanks.
Your next question comes from the line of Steve Wan from Western Masseter.
Thank you, operator. Bobby, really quick, before I ask you a pay-per-view question, what are your thoughts on the August 1st warning that we've been seeing teasers for all week?
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's only a day away, so I'm flying to TVs tomorrow morning, and I'm anxious to get to the building and kind of anxious to see who's hanging around. I honestly don't have any guesses on who it is. I'm kind of baffled by the whole thing, and so yeah, I'm extremely interested, and it should make for some dramatic television tomorrow night.
Yeah, it sure looks like it's going to be a big reveal tomorrow, so we're all looking forward to that. But a previous caller did mention the switch from 12 live events a year to 4, and obviously that presents some challenges when you're trying to create something that's going to be on the shelf for a little while before it gets aired. And I wonder what your thoughts are on how you worked that match with James Storm to make it just as fresh now as it was when you did it.
Well, I mean, I think the story itself of James and I think that could probably live on forever. Him and I became one of the, best tag teams in the world at the time. The Beer Money has been is kind of synonymous now with tag team wrestling. I think if you ask the fans, so I think when I did what I did and became the world heavyweight champion, when I beat him for the world heavyweight title, I think it was a beer bottle shot, kind of heard around the world, I guess, and people will never forget that. James Storm has a lot of loyal fans, and I think that our rivalry will probably live on for a very, very long time. So. Whether it happened, whether we have a matchup, tonight, tomorrow, or 5 years from now, I think it's going to mean the same.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing that match 5 years from now, too, then. Thank you very much for the time.
Thanks.
The next question comes from the line of Chris Soar from PowerWrestling.net.
You talked about the story with James Storm and how far back it goes. But one part of that story that never really got to play out was the bill with Bound for Glory last year. It looked like you guys were on a collision course and that he would get an opportunity to face you at Bound for Glory, winning the series and facing you there. Of course, it went a totally different direction from there. Was it frustrating to not be able to have that match on that stage, and a lot of fans were clamoring for it? You guys have had plenty of matches, obviously, since then, but that one seemed like it was building to something and then got diverted. Was that a frustrating moment for you?
Yes and no. It was in the beginning, because obviously I think the payoff that everybody wanted was to see James Storm finally get his redemption against me in the main event for, the biggest prize in our company, which was the World Heavyweight title at the time when I had it. So, I think it was frustrating to a lot of wrestling fans that were looking forward to that. It's frustrating to James, and somewhat frustrating to myself as well, obviously. So, but at the end of the day, we went out there bound for glory. We still faced each other, and we had a hell of a match. It's a match that a lot of people still talk about, and a match that I remember and kind of still wake up in the morning and feel every day. So, we went out there and we worked just as hard and put the effort out just as hard in the match that we had at Bound for Glory, that where it was on the show, just like we would have done it if it was for the World Heavyweight title. But it would have been a lot sweeter, I think, if the title was on the line.
And just as a quick follow-up to that, as far as, the type of frustration people talked about, where you asked earlier about the recent talent cuts, TNA doesn't seem to be bringing in, we don't know what the August 1st thing is, obviously we'll find out tomorrow night, but there doesn't seem to be any new talent coming in. Is that a cause for concern within the locker room, that it's kind of just the same guys continuing on, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of fresh faces coming in?
No, I don't think so, because, honestly, if you look around our locker room, there's a lot of guys there that can carry this company, that can still go out there and be fresh and do different things with different guys. Like I said earlier in this press conference, I haven't done nothing with Samoa Joe. For the 9 years that we've been in this company, him and I have done basically nothing together. I think that we could have a hell of a program. Me and Kurt, you have Aries, you have AJ, Daniels and Kazarian can go out on their own. Storm's there. There's so many guys in that locker room. I think that the talent is so good that I think that, for the next few years, I don't think it's a huge concern that we need to bring in anybody else. I think that we need to build the guys within our company and make them bigger stars than we already are. So I think that's hopefully the goal.
Thank you for your time, Bobby.
You got it.
Your next question comes from the line of Jason Price from Icon versus Icon.
Hey, Bobby, thanks for taking time out to talk to us today.
No problem.
I guess my question is, you've talked a lot about the evolution of the company through your years there. I'm curious, how do you view your evolution through the years, and how has it affected you both as a performer and as a person behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes, I don't think I've changed very much. I think, the evolution of the company, I think you have to adapt. I think you have to grow with the company. If your company grows, I think you as a performer have to grow as well. Because if you don't, you're going to be, you're not going to be employed. You have to go out there and perform each and every night, and I think I've been able to do that. And, of course, with the help of the great talent in our locker room, I think, our company has grown and will continue to grow. Behind the scenes, as far as that goes, I think that I've become more of I guess you could say a leader, a locker room leader, more of a veteran. Guys, which is kind of cool. Guys come up and ask me, the younger guys will ask me for my opinion to watch their matches, and I take great pride in that, because I remember being in that spot and asking guys to watch my matches. So, I like to think that I'm helpful to the younger guys, and I don't know. Behind the scenes, I'm just, I don't think I've changed very much. I still go out there and I still work hard and still want to be, a top guy. I don't think I'm ready to take a back seat and just be a guy that's going to, go out there and just help the younger guys. I want to be a guy that's going to go out there and main event pay-per-views and main event TV shows and be a world champion and become a bigger star than I already am. So as far as that goes, I think as long as everybody in our locker room keeps the attitude that, we got to keep stepping up each and every night, every Thursday night, we got to get out there and produce the best wrestling television show of that week. I think if that attitude stays, I think our company is going to continue to grow.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, Bobby.
You got it.
The next question comes from the line of Richard Peñaluna from Calling Spot.
Hi, Bobby. What's been apparent over this call is how passionate you are about the World Heavyweight Championship, and you even referred to winning the championship as the greatest moment of your life. Now, you might not know this, but I've never actually been a World Heavyweight Champion, so my question is, what was going through your head in that exact moment when you were stood in the ring and you were declared the heavyweight champion of the world?
Obviously, it was a kind of a relief, excitement, and combination of just every emotion. I mean, when I got into the business at the time, 13 years prior to that night, watching it when I was a kid, seeing the Hulk Hogan's with the World Heavyweight Championship, seeing the Ric Flairs, the guys that were in the main events, the top guy. When you were the world champion, you were known as the top guy, And I always, since the first time I put on a pair of wrestling boots, 13 years prior to that night, I always wanted to be the top guy. I wanted to be known as the champion. I wanted to drive the roads, and I wanted to get to the town, and I wanted the main event that night, and I wanted to know that at the pay-per-view that month that I'm going to be in the main event wrestling the top guy for the most prestigious title in our company. So it was a combination of a lot of things. So it was just basically that I made it. I did it. I accomplished it. And now, honestly, when I went to the back and I showered off, and I remember just knowing that when I put that title in my bag, it was like I knew that the work was just beginning. And I held the title for 8 months. I thought I did a great job with it, and obviously want another chance to do that again. So there you have it.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Bobby. Take care.
Okay.
Your next question comes from the line of Andrew Downs from Ministry of Slam.
Hi there, Bobby. Most of this conference call, you've really been talking about how you want to get your world title back. Now, when you first came in to TNA, you were managed by Scott Demure as part of Team Canada. Now, do you think a manager could get Bobby Roode that world title back in the future?
No, I think Bobby Roode needs to get the title back around Bobby Roode's waist. I mean, I've said it earlier in the press conference, this Bound for Glory series has been dismal, to say the least, on my behalf, and I'm not proud of it. And like I said, the game's about to change, and it's got to start tomorrow night on Impact with my match against Hernandez. So I don't think I can, turn to anybody or rely on anybody, whether it be a manager or anybody else for that matter. I think the weight of this falls on my shoulders, and it's up to me to get the job done.
How do you feel about managers as a whole in the wrestling industry? In TNA, we haven't actually got a lot of them around. What's your opinion of them in general?
I mean, I'm an old school wrestling fan, so I always loved the Bobby Heenans and the Mr. Fuji's and the Captain Little Bandos. That's what I grew up watching. So, they're always entertaining. The Jim Cornettes. I mean, back then those managers, were great, but in today's business, it's different. And I think when if you want to be a top guy, if you want to be a true superstar in this business, you're going to have to be able to talk and talk the talk and walk the walk on your own, be an individual, not rely on anybody else. And I think the days of the managers have kind of came and gone.